Welcome to LI on the Rise. This is all about people who are chasing their dreams. And today I'm with an artist from Long Island. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm Vanelladee, Danny, you could call me, and I'm an artist from Long Island. I'm from Nassau, South Shore.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. You have like a really unique sound to your music. And when I listen to it, like I can't really compare you to anybody else. Who inspires you? Like, where does your sound come from?
Specifically, I listen to a lot of A Boogie from the Bronx. He's like a melodic rapper, and he really incorporates a lot of R&B into like hip hop beats and stuff. And after him, I really got into a lot of Pierre Bourne. He's from Jamaica, Queens. And he was really impressive to me because of his 808 style and the fact that he made all his beats. He makes all his beats. He came up as a producer and then introduced himself as an artist. And obviously, when he became the artist as well, he's signed as an artist now. But he would rap over his own beats, and he would have soundtrack songs that he had his own lyrics for, and that he sold the beat to somebody. So like it was somebody else's song already, but he also was writing and rapping over his stuff. So I listened to a lot of Pierre. And those are definitely like my top two modern day like influences. I listen to a lot of Lana Del Rey too. But I don't know if her style so much uh, is what inspired me, but I enjoy her music. She's from Manhattan, so a lot of like New York based artists are like my main inspiration.
So yeah, that's interesting you say that because like you mentioned Lana Del Rey and like your music's like very calm. So it's like the
Yeah,
the beat is like bumping like a boogie or just rap in general, but your flow and your voice and like the delivery is very soft. So
yeah,
that makes sense, you know, like but you got your own thing going on. Like I was like I have no idea who like this girl listens to. Like, and that's a good
yeah,
thing. That's a good thing. I hate listening to someone's music and it makes me think of somebody else.
yeah. No, I appreciate that a lot. I think that it comes through more just like in my personality too, because I'm generally really chill and like sometimes I could almost even be a little monotone. So I think that's just like my vibe is like generally chill and it comes through in my music.
So let's jump into this new EP, White Roses. So you said the cover's your funeral. It's a representation of new birth, out with the old, in with the new. So what's going on here?
So I have been like I guess the year before this past year, so like 2022, I was like, all right, so in 2022 I'm gonna make an album. I was working a lot though. Last year I was bartending, waitressing every weekend back to back to back. I had a retail job because I opened up my jewelry accessories and like fashion accessories that I now sell. At the time I wanted to learn the back end. So I was doing 7 days. But then in the summer, I like kind of like I was still making music, but it was like I was going to the studio. I worked with my good friend Steve Venti. He's from Lindenhurst. He's a musician and he engineers my music and like we produced it together. The majority of it, some beats are not ours, but a lot of it is our original work. The whole EP is our original work. Over the summer, I was like, I want to put an album together. And I had all these tracks, and I'm like, what do I do with them? How do I make sense of them? Do I just put them all together and call it an album? And I was almost going to do that. But then I was sitting at the kitchen table with my friend Renee, and he's like, well, like, you know, what is it? Like, is it concise? And that, like, that made me kind of think, I was like, oh, it has to make sense. So then I
Yeah.
just like like I wrote some new material and I was just like dedicated this past summer to like spending time on the music. Backtrack a little in March, I this room I'm in right now is like my home studio. All the money I was making last year, I did it with the purpose of redoing this room. So now that I had this room and now that I have more time over the summer, I finished it and I made sense of it. I was like, all right, so these are the 5 tracks that I think can go. So like I can explain each song and why I put it there. And the funeral specifically, I don't know exactly. Oh no, I do know why I thought of that. I was hanging out with my brother one day and I just was like, I wanna die a pretty death where I can lay my soul to rest and everyone can see the white roses. And yeah, white roses. Then that week, which is crazy, somebody sent me white roses in a bouquet. And I was like, yeah, white roses, that's it. So I don't know. I was like, what do I want my funeral to look like? Have you never thought of that before, you know? Like
Um,
it's
I mean, don't we have other people making that decision for us in a way? Like,
I mean, I guess, but like I don't know. I really like flowers. I was thinking about the bouquets. Like, how sad would it be if you're like dead and it's just like fucking some shitty flowers next to you? Like, I don't know. Like, I just want it to be pretty. Like, I want it to be like a wedding when I die. So I was like, let me just. I actually that was a poem. It was a poem that I wrote that day, maybe that night or something. I wrote the poem, and then when I turned it into a song, I switched up the I put some piano, some keys to it, and I brought it to the studio. And then I rearranged the words and everything, and so that's the whole thing about the funeral.
let's get into like the messages and the themes of the songs because there's like substance to your music, which is like really rare nowadays. So it's not just some fun party stuff.
All right, so the first one's called "Never Mind It." Um, that song I was playing on the piano, and I was just like, sometimes I'll just like touch the keys and I'll just sing and try to hear and just let stuff flow, and I'll record myself so that way I could reference it back. That one was just kind of like, I don't know. I was like in this before that I was writing a lot of like love and broken heart songs like when I first started making music. So, you know, I had this situation I was like upset over, and then I was just finally like, you know what? I'll never mind it. I'm better off alone. Like it's all good. That's kind of me like leaving the past behind. So that's how I started the EP. Like addressing the stuff and like let me let it go. So then the second song is called Refocus. I never minded it, let me refocus. And in that song I call out a few people who are like fake to me, just some weird shit. I call people out and I'm just like, nah, like this is what I'm doing. I'm locked the fuck in. I'm gonna make it my way. I say that in the chorus. And that's what I'm doing. Third song, Ten Toes. This beat I really love. The day that I finished this song, like officially, I was like really happy with it. I did show one person at the time and he's a rapper and he was like, oh, like your voice is just so like almost like too chill. But I was like, no, that's the sound. Like
Mhm.
that's how I feel, you know? So I felt confident in it. And it also has to do with the vocal mix potentially, but whatever. I think the song came out great for what it is. And ten it means like 10 toes down. I'm like, this is what's important to me. This is what I'm gonna do. I already forgot all the other shit. I'm like, I'm 10 toes down. Like I'm in it. Then the fourth song, I also did a lot of the piano work. I sang that one out loud at home too. And that's kind of me like not only saying that, not just talking about me now. It's not only me that like don't let people take your shine away. Like you can get to where I'm at mentally too. You know, don't let them take your shine. That's the fourth song, Take Your Shine. And I also introduced a lot of my Christian faith in there. For me, in my heart, I'm like, I'm love, I'm faith, I'm hope. This is what got me out of, you know, places that I didn't want to be in the past. You know, now I'm at this mental space, and God really helped me do that. You know, so I addressed that in the song, and then that's it. Then the fifth song is the White Roses, and I just describe what I kind of want my funeral to look like. I want to be in a gown. I want to be pretty. I want roses. In my head when I was singing it, because I do a lot of freestyling a lot on the in the booth, and I don't keep every take, but just to get like mental images. Um, in my mind, it was almost like a wedding, and I was kind of like watching everybody, like I'm still here though, like keep what I left, like what I all the work that I did on Earth, like keep it, like everything, like it's okay, like I'm still with you because I left so much. I left all my work. That's me. That's who I am. Is my art, is my work. That's how I feel about that. And then it was just like kind of like a closing. I feel like going into a new stage in my life.
Not only do you do music, but you also post videos of motivation. And you said this one thing, and I was like, damn, because like like social media is really big, and there's a lot of motivational speakers, and like the more you dive into it, they kind of all say the same thing. Like in a sense, like it's like, all right, this is the same
Yeah,
shit. It's hard to like
yeah,
find like those gems that you never heard. But you said this one thing, I was like, God damn. You said it was a YouTube short about adults acting like children, and you said you think adults act like children because education stops once we leave school.
wow, I'm glad you saw that.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, because like that's crazy because like someone could be 30 but they think like a 23-year-old. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I just see it because it's like they'll be like grown-ups that like drive like shit or like do dumb things and I'm like, how can they be like that? And it's because like they might physically be 40 but they think like a 25-year-old. And it's like
yeah,
it's the same kind of the same like thing that you said where it's like, yeah, I notice it too. Like what's going on? Like why are people staying like where they are? Like they're growing like no one grows up, they just get older,
yeah.
you
I,
know?
it's actually that's something I think about. I've wanted to get close to people that I like, but I don't think they understand what we just said. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are kind of just on this autopilot, and I don't know if there's a way to like explain really why. Maybe some of it has to do with the technology, the just like whatever you consume might be different than what other people consume. But I do think that it comes down to learning, kind of like what we said before. And I have my bachelor's in Spanish, and I did one semester of my master's, right? And that's when I kind of knew and got introduced to the idea that like education is different than learning, right? Um, Education is just really more about almost culture in a way. Uh, in school, I always thought it was really important to like do those critical thinking. I'm a critical thinker. I write. Um, but yeah, no, I think that once you're done being educated by the school system, that doesn't mean you learned everything you need to know. And I don't think people realize that,
Hmm.
that life is more than just like waking up, eating, you know, going to
Hmm.
work and coming home. Like you need to really feed your mind, your body, and your soul. I was talking about that on YouTube too. Mind, body, and soul. And um back to my brother, another example. He recently had like his appendix taken out, and he like, I don't know, he just like couldn't feel the connection with his body and himself. And I'm like, bro, you need to like zen in and feel the connection in your body. And I only know that because I study, because I listen to certain things, because like, not that I'm like an avid reader, don't get me wrong, but like anytime I have a question, I look for the answer. And I think other people don't do that. They just keep their questions to themselves. They don't really want to ponder. They don't really want to dig any deeper. And
Hmm.
then you don't grow. You just can't grow. Can't grow if you're not growing.
Yeah, and it's like you know what's funny? It's like I'm sure everyone can relate to this, but you go through like hard times in your life, even if it's small, and you're like, damn, what do I do? And you kind of keep it to yourself. The best thing I ever did was just like casually tell someone. They're like, yo, what's wrong, man? It's like, oh, da 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 da. And then they say something. I'm like, wow, I never even thought of that. Like
Right.
that was one of the best things I ever like realize like getting a second opinion. And it's like you don't always have to take it. Like everybody chill out. Like people don't even want to hear what you have to say. And it's like, yo, like just hear the person out. Like it could actually be really helpful. Like that was
Yeah.
one of the best things I ever did because like I would keep a lot of things to myself and like I'll figure it out on myself. And it's like, dude, you're fucking like 16. Like it's cool, ask for help. Like,
I think
you
I
know?
think making the connection between the internal and the external, right? So like you saying that out loud kind of brings it into an existence, and then you could then now there's a question, and then you could like reach some sort of conclusion. But if you don't say anything, then it's just like all bottled up in here, and
Mhm.
you can't progress. I was saying to my friend, we were talking about anxiety, and I'm like, I don't believe in like the way that they cover people's anxiety with medication and don't actually address the root. I think that I there's anxiety in my family too. And my anxiety, the way that I dealt with it was addressing it. It still exists, but now I sit with it.
Mhm.
Now like I've grown with it. We've grown together. Things take time to grow together, but if you just ignore them, then you're going to stunt the growth completely. But
Mhm.
but if you take time to really sit with it and grow with it, like you can like reach a place of completion.
And you can experience it less and it could happen less. Like it was here and then you did your self-reflection, whatever, and now it's here. I'd rather be here than here. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
honestly, most of life is just a game up here. It's a game upstairs. That's it.
And even believing it is a game, but believing that this is powerful though. Not that the game is being played on you, but that like you can overcome. I can change the way I think. I can
Yeah.
change the way I see like even a small situation. I could change the way I view it. And that gives me the power. That gives me the power.
Are you wearing your jewelry now? Like is the earrings yours?
I do sell these big hearts.
How much is the hearts?
These are 18.
Is that heavy?
These are not heavy. I do have a pair that's like heavy where like I'd only wear it out for like a couple of hours just for like show. But
Hmm.
these feel comfortable to me. But before it all, like when I was 7, I begged my parents, "Can I get my ears pierced?" I was 14. I got my first job. First thing I did was buy a pair of earrings. Like I just always love that. So for me, wearing earrings, like I wear them every day. So for you, they might be heavy. For
come on,
me, they're
come
not
on, like, oh
heavy.
shit. Like you've been doing music for 3 years and music's really
Hmm.
competitive. Have you ever had like any like haters or doubters?
Yeah, I mean some like internet trolls, but they could suck my dick. Like I don't really care about internet trolls.
But
No,
what
no, let me take that back. Let me relax. I've had some like weird comments, but honestly, the internet's a weird place. Okay, there's bots, there's people behind screens. You can't take any of that personal. And
hmm
I've had people in my life, like my family, uh, they weren't really always my biggest cheerleaders growing up. I have tough skin because they're not like, oh, Danielle, you can do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're very direct people. And I don't know. For me at the beginning, I wanted like approval from like friends and family, but then I let go of that. Like, I just it didn't matter anymore because this is like, it's something that I feel like I just need to do, which is part of who I am. It doesn't matter anymore. I have
hmm
had that. I've had people say that I suck. Like I'm not gonna cry about it. At first, it was a little harsh when you first start
Yeah.
music, but then after a while, like you're just like it doesn't matter because then you do get people who compliment you, and it just is what it is.
Yeah, and I think everyone like experiences it to some degree. Like it's so funny because it's like people want to be big and want to be famous. It's like you don't think you're gonna get a bunch of criticism being famous? Like someone hates Drake, like someone hates Nicki Minaj. Like you crazy? Like you think you're gonna blow up? Everyone's gonna love you? Like people are delusional, you know? So it's like,
People are delusional, yeah.
it just comes with
No, it's true. You gotta like really step out and really think about the big picture. I think
hmm
studying people who are already at where you want to be is important too, and seeing what they deal with.
hmm
In my personal, I'm not for me. I never really looked for fame. If it comes with what I have to do, that's fine. But my goal isn't to be famous. I do want to be rich. My goal isn't to be famous. So I would like to be well known, have successful businesses, and to be an inspiration to people. But to be famous, no, I don't want that personally.
Yeah, it seems like a nightmare, to be
Yeah,
honest.
you're like I already feel like a muse. I feel like a muse, but let alone if people like you can't do anything. I've had
Mhm.
some experiences though, like with like guys where I'm like it's a little weird. We're maybe getting stalked, maybe a little whatever. I don't know. The internet is a weird place. Okay.
Do you get like DMs like, can I take you out on a date?
Yeah. And the annoying part is too is that I am single and I don't want to be anymore, you know? So it's like I wish I could be like, oh, I have a boyfriend, you know, because I don't want to deal with that. But what are you gonna do?
Do you
It'll
leave
happen when it happens.
do you leave them on red, or like do you answer back and you're like, oh, like not interested, or like
Most of the time, I don't answer. I I don't answer a lot of people though. I'm not a big texter.
hmm
Um, so no, most of the time I don't answer. But I it depends. So a lot of times I meet the person in person. So like I
hmm
know them.
hmm
So like I don't try to ignore people that I know,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I usually don't answer.
If a stranger slides in the DM in a romantic way, they want to take you out, like what works?
What works? Um, I don't know. First, I'd look at their page and see like if I was
Okay.
potentially interested, and then
Okay.
depending on what I think about them, then maybe I'm I'm dating right now, so like I
hmm
might if I was interested in the person, but if I'm not interested, I'm not. You can't change my mind. I'm very stubborn. I know like if I'm interested in that,
So,
like
has anyone been like, "Hey, like we should collab on music sometime," but like like you don't want to collab with me, like you're trying to like meet up with me low key.
yeah, that happens. I feel like I'm living in a man's world, you you know. Like there's been plenty of times where I'm the only female in the studio. You
Hmm.
know, it's a bunch of dudes and me. I work with dudes all the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
know I know I'm a bartender. Sometimes my whole bar is men. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's not uncommon for me. So I feel
Mhm.
like I handle it well. I just don't like people who are not genuine. So like if
Yeah.
I see that, like I'm gonna shy away from you. Like you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Like
Yeah.
I've had guys do things with the intention, like thinking that they'll get me in a certain position. I don't like that. That's snaky to me. Just straight
Yeah.
up say it if that's the case. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It does happen. Sometimes I can't tell. Sometimes then I meet them and I come off mad cool, like bro energy, because I'm like protecting myself. And then I don't even think they try. And like then I'm like, all right, like
Just
you know,
let them know that dad's a black belt. That's all you need to let them know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, I do. I handle. Let's just say I handle it. I think I handle it well. Although, like I said, I have thought about it. I'm like, I do wish I had a boyfriend so I could feel a little more protected. I also have my own house now, so it's like I'll admit it. I'm not like oh I don't need a man. Like I wish I think I believe in marriage. You know, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and also too, like as you get older, like it's like nice to have someone because it's like you see how many people that like you lose. that you didn't think
Yeah.
you'd lose. Like, I can't fuck with this person. I used to be friends with this person. We're drifting, and it's like life hits you, and you're like, yo, like, where's someone solid, you know? So it's hard.
Yeah, and it takes time. I was telling my brother, I'm like, it takes time, to develop that with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just gonna, I meet new people all the time, but by the time I'm potentially close with that person, it's gonna be another 2 or 3 years. So
Hmm.
anybody that I've known, I mean, I don't know. I think it is important to have your people with you, and especially when you're on a path like this.
I really appreciate you doing this. It was like really fun talking to you. So thank you for making time to
You
do
too.
this.
You
And
too. I appreciate it a lot.
yeah, of course. And let everyone know where they can listen to the music and any new things coming up this year. Yo, it's 2023. Yo, this podcast not going nowhere. We're still going. First guest 2023.
Let's
We,
go,
we
baby.
both got big goals. I'm excited. You're excited. Let them know everything going on
Number
this year.
99. Over the summer, I'll probably drop my next project. Um, and yeah, just like link up, check out my jewelry. I have a hookup for events if anybody wants to do a birthday party, celebrate something, packages, brunches. I can get all that set up for people. So that's something else too. Private parties. I do private in-house parties. And just yeah, I'm down to earth. So anybody, if you want to talk to business, like I'm cool with it. Just DM me. Appreciate you, Christian, a lot. Enjoyed the conversation a lot.
Thanks. Yeah, it was really fun. And again, thanks for making time with this. And let everybody know about the EP.
White Roses. It's on Spotify, Apple Music. Find it on YouTube, and check it out. Listen to the songs. Listen to the lyrics. Go through the whole EP, and you might find something that you like.